Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, and welcome to Aunt Millicent's Cooking Show. Happy New Year, everyone, and thank you for joining me again on the show. I've got some exciting plans for 2024, and I hope you do too. I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope all of your New Year's resolutions come true. So tonight on the show, we're going to be making an old soup favorite for Chinese restaurants. It's called hot and sour soup. Hope it's one of your favorites. And I hope you can join me as we cook this thing up. There's lots of ingredients, but it's relatively simple. It's just soup. So without further ado, let's apron up and let's get started. Okay, y'all, let's get right to the ingredients. So first of all, you can make hot and sour soup with chicken or pork. I've got some leftover chops from the week, so I'm just going to put a little bit of meat in here. They recommend about 7 ounces. So you can put that in there as you want. So I'm just going to put that in. We also need some mushrooms. They recommend shiitake. They didn't have anything like that in our store. You probably have to special order it. So I just grabbed some mushrooms. You're going to need about half a cup of those, okay? Then we're going to get into some of the spices. You need these guys. You need about a teaspoon of these dried chili pepper flakes, okay? And you're going to need some dark soy, okay? You can get dark soy in the regular part of your Asian market, or the Asian section of your market, and it's right next to the light soy. And by the way, you will also need light soy. So dark soys are more consistent, more of a Japanese flavor, I think, and this is more traditional. So you need some dark and light soy, okay? And you're going to need some ginger. You can just get the powdered style. It's perfectly fine. Okay. You need yourself some white pepper. You only need yourself about a half a teaspoon of that. All right, here comes the big soup ingredient. You're going to need about 6 cups of chicken broth. Okay, so you can use vegetable broth if you're not into the chicken. So I think that's going to be about 3 of these guys here. So we have a stockpile of them. Of course we do, of chicken broth. So you're going to need that. You're going to need some sesame oil. This gives you that Asian flavor. So get you some of that. You're going to add some sugar, and there's our bug-proof container. So you're going to need sugar, and you're going to need some vinegar. Okay, they say white vinegar. I happen to have some rice vinegar just in the closet here, so get you some of that. You only need about 1/4 of a cup of it. And now we got our other ingredients. So get yourself some tofu. You only need about 1/4 of a cup of this. I'm sorry, not 1/4 of a cup. You need about 4 ounces of this. I think this is about 8 or 16. It doesn't say on the side. Yes, it does, 16. So you need about 1/4 of this, but you can add as much of this as you want. And you're going to cube this into little pieces and put in the soup, okay? Then you're going to get yourself some canned bamboo shoots. These are going to go in there. Then you're going to need yourself some 2 eggs. They're going to be blended before you put them in. Okay, we'll go over those steps when we get there. You're going to need, excuse me, you're going to need 1/4 cup cornstarch. That's what that is. You got it. And finally, salt. And for garnish, shallots. A shallot's a little powerful little onion. You can usually find them near all the rest of the onions on the lower level, but that's a shallot, and you're going to need one of those. So incredible as it may seem, that's the ingredients, and I'm done, okay? So what I need you to do is get a great big pot, something that's able to hold 6 cups, and we're going to start this thing up, okay? And let's go. I'll meet you at the stove. All right, y'all, here we go. We are at the soup station, and the first thing I want to do is get my pot nice and hot, okay? I'm going to put in about a teaspoon or so of sesame oil, okay? And then off camera, I took the pork that I had and I cut it up into chunks. So if you got pork or chicken, go ahead and cut that up and toss that in there, however much you have, okay? So we'll get that going here. The next thing we got to do is add some of our spices. But let's let this pork cook down a little bit, and you let your chicken cook down a little bit too, okay? Whichever one you have, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now that you've got your meat kind of brown, it doesn't have to be scorching brown or anything, we're going to go ahead and add our broth. So you can add chicken or vegetable. These just happen to be chicken, okay? So these, I'm pretty sure that these boxes are a cup or 2 cups. I'm just going to double check because I'm paranoid that way. Okay, so go one. Well, you know what, they might be more than that. Two. Yeah, so I'm just going to need 2 of my boxes, okay? So go ahead and add 6 cups of your broth, okay? And I'll come right back. Okay, I've got my 6 cups of broth in here. Go ahead and start turning your temperature up and bringing that to a boil with your meat inside there, okay? So we've got to add some for spices too, okay? So I'm going to run through that real quick. We need to add a teaspoon of ginger, okay? And I wish these were marked better. They're hard to see. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this is just going to be your powdered ginger. Sorry, y'all. I'm not very organized here. That'll work. Okay, so there's a teaspoon of powdered ginger. You're going to need 2 cups of your darks, not 2 cups, gosh, I'm sorry. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of your dark soy. This is the dark. Well, that's a little more, isn't it? We'll just call that 2 cups right there, okay? And then 1 cup of light soy, okay? Here we go. And then some of these chili flakes. They say to add a tablespoon. So, or these, yeah, these little guys here, these chili pepper flakes. And that's probably about right there. You can adjust these as you go. You know I'm not big on exact measuring or anything. And then we need a teaspoon of sugar. And so let's get that going here. And so I'll just use the half, since that's what I have. So 2 halves make a 1, if I remember correctly. And then you're going to need a half a teaspoon of white pepper. Okay. So there's my white pepper going in. And let's see, I think that's it. So stir that up, bring that to a boil, and then we'll add our other ingredients as we get there, okay? And I'll be back. Okay, y'all, my soup has reached a nice boil, as you can see. So I need you to raise yours to a boil, keep it going for about 10 minutes, okay? And then we'll come back and add some more things to it. And you should probably cover it up, just like I just did. Okay, y'all, I've got 10 minutes on this simmer with just the broth and the meat. So the first thing that's got to go in here is 1/4 of a cup of white vinegar. I have rice vinegar, but white vinegar is going to be pretty much the same thing, okay? You should have at some point washed your mushrooms, and I think I need to do that. Hold on. Wow, I can't believe I did that. I forgot to wash them. So there they go. Those are just our standard mushrooms from the store. Going in, I got to put in, oh, missed a few stragglers. They didn't want to go in. Then you got to put in your bamboo shoots. So take your can out and just let it rip, okay? Next thing you got to go in is your tofu. So I haven't talked about the tofu much. Like I say, I bought about 16 ounces of it. And it says to cut up to about a full cup, actually. So I did that, and I got about this. Okay, so I have it nice little cubes. Okay, so it's going to go in, and you could add more or less if you want, if you're hungry. That's perfectly fine, right? And there's the tofu. So, and my meat's already in there. If at any point you've taken it out so it didn't get overcooked, put it back in. And at that point, we are ready to stir again. So I want you to stir this up really good and let it simmer to let these mushrooms cook down. So I'm going to turn my temperature up a little bit and put your lid back on it, okay? Now, while you do that, I want you to go grab your cornstarch once you let that thing simmer up. So here's our cornstarch. Get yourself 1/4 of a cup of that. That's going to be my small thing, and 1/4 of a cup of water. And I want you to put it in a bowl and stir it up. What that's going to do is it's going to make our soup thickener, okay? Don't put the cornstarch directly in the soup because it'll lump up. What you want to do is put the cornstarch into a fourth of a cup of cornstarch into 1/4 of a cup of water, and that will Mix it all together, and then we'll pour that in on the next step. Okay, so we're getting close to being done, believe it or not. So I'll be back. So remember, 10 minutes, and go ahead and, oh, I'm fumbling all over the place. Go ahead and cover that up. You may want to turn the heat up a little bit too. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, yeah, we are 10 minutes in after that, and our mushrooms are nice and cooked. So now I hope, oh, there goes my timer. All right, so I hope you got that cornstarch mixture going. Remember, this is 1/4 cup of cornstarch and 1/4 cup of water. And so what I want you to do is pour this in the soup slowly, okay? We don't want it to lump up. So pour, about 1/3 of it in there. And then stir it in. This is gonna be our thickener, okay? Stir it up real good. Don't let it congeal or sit. And by the way, if you let this mixture sit long enough, it'll settle back out. So you may have to re-stir it, okay? Even if it's already stirred, okay? There we go. Pot's loose for some reason. Okay, so that is the heart and soul of hot and sour soup. So we need to get the temperature up really high now, okay? So now I want you to go get your eggs and crack them and mix them up, and we're going to pour it in here and make the kind of little, what they call like an egg ribbon, okay? But you got to get it pretty hot too. This is a lot like the egg drop soup if you've ever made that, because the egg, it almost just instantly cooks, okay? So I'll be right back with the egg. Okay, y'all, so this is kind of the fun part. Here's 2 eggs scrambled up, nice and mixed up, and this is going to go in the soup, okay? So pour slowly. So these little kind of what they call egg ribbons form. Whoops, that's not slow enough. It'll be fine. Okay, kind of like this. At no point or another do you do anything with these eggs except just pour them in. And I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. I'll try to pour it back here so you can see. But there'll be little bits of egg that cook almost instantly. As soon you can see them now. There you go. See them? Yeah. As soon as it hits the hot soup, it makes like a little ribbon, okay? And this cooks in the soup too. You probably want your temperature to be fairly high to do this, okay? And I think that's all I got. How about that? Some Chinese dishes are deceptively simple. Egg, drop, soup, That's pretty much the recipe, and that's pretty much what they call it. Others would be things like stir fry. Got it, okay? That's the recipe. So that's also what it's called. So I love Chinese food, all kinds of Asian food. There you go. So you can see inside there now we've got little egg ribbons, and it looks pretty good. Okay. So there's one more thing we can add, and there's one ingredient we haven't touched yet, and that's our shallots. Okay. So at some point or another, I want you to go chop up your shallot. Okay. And we'll just put it in almost as a garnish. Okay. And in case you don't know, the shallot's the very powerful red onion. They're small and potent, okay? So I'm just going to kind of break it up a little bit here and put them all in here. I already done mine, but you need to just chop it up nice and thin and ship them on in there. It's almost like a scallion in more American type dishes that you add just almost as a garnish, okay? So let that thing cook up real good and get it good and warm. You can even turn it down a little bit now so your eggs don't scorch, okay? And you may want to try it. You may want to add some salt and pepper to it if it's not flavored good enough for you, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, that is egg drop soup, and I will join you momentarily, so we'll try it together, okay? Here we go. Hey y'all, we made it to the dining room, and I have brought my hot and sour soup with me. So it's been driving me crazy because it's been smelling so good. So let's give it a nice little taste here. I've got some tofu in here and a couple of mushrooms. I think a little bit of egg there, I see. And that is really good. Oh, it's got a little pepper, a little bit of a kickback on it. That's very, very good. So you can make a huge pot of this and keep it on hand and just, warm it up as you want to go. And eat it all, for a week or a couple of days, but people you have in your house, right? So anyway, I really hope you enjoy your hot and sour soup. I bought me some frozen egg rolls to go with this. That's what's also in place. I'm going to dig into that here in a minute. So I really hope you enjoyed making hot and sour soup with me. And I hope you, again, have a wonderful year. Keep tuning in to my show because I've got some new ideas coming. and some more collaboration, which is very, very exciting to me. So with that, I will bid you a nice evening and bon appetit.